Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking about. It means a lot to you guys. Keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today, what I want to touch on really is the fact that I think Survivor 43 has a chance to actually be a good season. I'm going to talk about what I feel like 41 and 42 did wrong and what 43 has the potential to correct, what I want to see to be convinced that it is good, and on top of that, how much it actually has a chance to be good. So definitely a lot going on in this video. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. Okay, so the place that I think you need to start is with the boot order. I feel like the boot order is very important, just because in 41 we saw this be an absolute failure. Your guys like Brad and Voce and JD, the people who needed to make the merge, did not make the merge, and your people like Erica and Heather and maybe let's say like a Tiffany make the merge who should not have been there. And of course, maybe you may not understand, I make this point very, very frequently, that the people who quote unquote need to make the merge or don't need to make the merge, I mean the characters who are going to add that deeper layer of strategy or entertainment. I feel like those players need to make the merge. Think Inkagion, your Tonys, your Casses, your Spencers. Those characters are necessities to have merge time for the entertainment value of the season. Your people like Bryce and even like a Jeffra who actually did make the merge, and and Alexis, all of these people are not horrible casting, but they needed to go pre-merge because they weren't going to add any value to the season come post-merge time. They were not a necessity. And I think with 42, you really saw this. People like, Zach and Mariah and even like Swati go home pre-merge when we really don't need them. We didn't really need them for the season to develop, and we got our big characters like Jonathan and Hai and Drea and Omar and even Marianne, to the merge safely for them to then play the merge out. And it ended up, working out at least better than 41 did. And so for me, that's a big thing. And in this season, I'm pointing to a few people. So I think not only did Justine and Mariah, the two first boots, need to go home pre-merge, which is good that they actually did go home. But on top of that, I think Janine from the Yellow Tribe needs to go home pre-merge. She doesn't really add much for me. I hesitate to call these people like just complete busts as far as the casting process goes, but they're definitely not adding much to the season. On top of that, someone like a Jay for me is kind of expendable. I think he's fine going. I think over on that Red Tribe, I feel like there isn't really someone who cannot make the merge. If I had to expend someone, I guess maybe Noelle, but even then she's a fantastic story or whatever. So I guess the other person that comes to mind, I personally wouldn't mind losing about half of the people on that blue tribe. For an example, a Carla is not necessary. And again, I'm not saying these players will go home. I'm just saying that, the show would be most benefited if these players went home pre-merge. And that's like really the balance of a pre-merge, is those people go home, but it's not just in blowouts. It's in a very fun way. Good pre-merges do this exactly. Think Millennials versus Gen X or Dave versus Goliath, where it's crazy blindsides, but in the end, the people that need to go home in whatever way they did went home. Another thing for me is the lack of crazy twists. So we know that the hourglass twist, as well as that do or die twist, is not going to be in the game, but we do know that the earn the merge twist is back. So it's basically the exact same twist from the last two seasons, except now the result of the challenge cannot be reversed. So it's just the winning group is safe, the losing group is vulnerable at that first merge tribal. I guess you can call it like the quote unquote first merge tribal. And for me, this is better. This is not as bad, but I think I just believe in trusting your cast with a regular merge episode. I cannot wait until we get an actual regular merge episode where it's not like well, this is kind of the merge, and then that's like the first merge vote where everybody is open to getting voted out. I don't know if they're scared about just a 11-1 vote at the merge. Like, that's fine, it's okay. Or if they're just not trusting their own casting as far as like the episode being interesting. I don't know. I think merge episodes are always fun to watch. And so I think that is kind of a problem, but not as much of a problem. I think the new Beware advantages are much better than the previous ones with the beads, because I think that having it be independent is much better, because I think in the past 2 seasons you were kind of reliant on people from other tribes who you couldn't talk to finding their own idol for yours to get activated. I like this better because if you're on your P's and Q's, you can solve your own problems. On top of that, I also like it because I think it kind of leans more on your social ability than just your like idol digging, kind of just spotting something, poking out of a log skills, which it really doesn't feel like Survivor. Social skills does feel like Survivor, and so I'm more happy with this because I think it proves your skill at the game more, which is kind of the whole point of advantages, is your ability to just outplay somebody else, screw the numbers or anything. Although this kind of applies to something that is related to getting numbers, which is having social, skills and bonds in the game. And I think it works because if you have allies, this is much easier than if you're just trying to bed bomb your way to the end. I also like the idle expiring after two tribals. I like that a lot, especially because people like Mike are obviously gonna mismanage that and do stupid stuff like what Mike did at the start of the premiere episode's tribal, I believe, or their strategizing time before the tribal. I feel like it leads to more shenanigans. So one thing that I have no doubt is that there's going to be aggressive players at the merge. It's not going to be some pagonging, and it's also not just going to be like, one alliance controls 4 rounds and then it switches, and then one controls the next 4 rounds. Very, very similar to in 41. I know it's going to be good blindsides like 42. It may take a few rounds just like 42 did, but I feel like it will come. The issue for me is, does the player who's very aggressive get rewarded with a win, or is it another Marianne or Erica, quote unquote, under the radar, aka did not play a good game type of winner? And to me, I'm just curious. Again, it does not have to be some sort of like super duper Tony type of aggressive player, that wins. I just need someone who's a good winner, both character wise, edit wise, and also their strategy. I need them to actually deserve their win, because if they don't, then the season just, you walk away with a bad taste in your mouth. People underestimate how important a good winner is, because it's the last thing you see and think about with the season, right? I mean, obviously you have the little stupid after show, but I feel like whoever wins the season makes the season what it is. And as annoying as that after show and a live reading of the votes is, if it's a good winner, it's much more satisfying to watch the end of the show, which is the part that sticks in your mind the most. So I think people kind of underestimate how important having that good winner is, and I think I'm not going to do that. Well, what do you think? Have you bought in on Survivor for 43, or are you still very skeptical? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm just a real guy with a weird microphone. So as always, thank you. That's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.